He who would true valor see, let him come hither. Here is one who will valiant be. Come rain, come weather. There's no discouragement can make him once repent. His first avowed intent to be a pilgrim. One of the great unsolved mysteries of the world is it better to walk the Camino de Santiago wearing boots or shoes? But I think there's an even more important aspect that a lot of people miss out on. So in this video, I'm going to look at the 5 tests you can use to make sure your boots or shoes are in good condition to walk the Camino. Then I'm going to do a product review of a make of boots called the Lowa Renegade. Then I'm going to look at the 3 things you should do to make your boots or shoes last longer. And then I'm going to mention a very special reason why you should really take care of your boots or shoes. So first of all, I should do the 5 checks to make sure your boots or shoes are in good condition. And I'm going to do it using this pair of boots, which are the boots I wore on the Camino. And also I'm going to do the tests with this pair of boots, which is the Lowa Renegade. And I've owned each of these pairs of boots for 3 years. Okay, so I have my boots for 3 years. I use them every day. I walk the Camino in these ones, so that's 800 kilometers. Strava tells me in the last year, during the lockdown, I've walked 3,000 kilometers. And if you're going to walk the Camino, you need to do everything in kilometers. No one does miles, all the signs are in kilometers, all the guidebooks are in kilometers. So practice your 0.62 times table. So for example, 10 kilometers is 6.25 miles, I think, or 6.2 miles. So the first test you can do on your boots or shoes is you can look at the sole to make sure you've got plenty of grip. And also you can tell if the sole's getting very thin because you can feel stones through the surface of through the sole of the boot, so it can be quite uncomfortable if you're walking on lumpy ground. Well, these are my Camino boots. They've got quite a bit of sole left, and when I walk in them, they still feel quite solid. You know, I can't feel stones or anything like this. These are the new pair of boots which I bought when I got back from the Camino, and I bought them because on the Camino there's no pair of shoes or boots that people tend to wear. Unlike the rucksacks, everyone seems to have an Osprey rucksack or a Deuter rucksack. But I did see quite a few people had these. They look quite good boots, so I bought them. Well, this is what the soles look like. And after 3 years, probably maybe 6,000 to 8,000 kilometers, something like that, the soles are completely knackered. You can see they're completely worn through. And there's another test you can do. If you push if you can see this, if you push the sole, can you see it moves? Try with the other one, maybe that looks better. You push it with your thumb, yeah, look. Can you see how much flex there is in it, how worn down it is? So the sole that's in these boots is definitely worn down. So far then, 1-0 to the Camino boots. The next test you can do is a bit more difficult, and that's the inner sole. And the inner sole provides cushioning for your foot and support. It's a bit more difficult to do because it's in the middle and you can't see it. There is a theory. If you push the boots, you get creasing along here. They're these boots. These boots are fine. Also, you can run your hand along the inside of the boot and you can feel if it's cracked or distorted. And on these boots you can't see, but where my ball of my foot would go is there is a massive dent where I've worn it down. On these ones, on the inside, it still feels quite smooth, it feels fine. So 2-0 to the Camino boots. Number 3 is waterproofing. Are your boots still waterproof? And remember, it's important to have waterproof boots because when you're jumping in muddy puddles, it will help to keep your feet dry. These are still waterproof. They're still, you know, still solid all the way around. I don't get wet feet wearing these ones. These ones have got holes in fact, in this one. I can get my finger through in one hole. So when it comes to waterproofing, the Camino boots win again. So it's not looking so far It's not looking so good for the Lowa Renegade boots, but hang on a minute, we've still got 2 more tests to do. The next test is the small trivial things, you know, like the laces, the metal ringlets on your boots. Are they in good condition? I always replace my laces with, these are Timberland boot laces, 160 centimeters long, which is the longest size they do. And they're quite strong, they're quite good value for money. They're £5, but they last a long time and they work really well, so that's what I recommend for that. Both of these boots are fine, so I think that's a 1-all for trivial things that might go wrong. So we've got, so far we've got the sole, the middle sole, waterproof, and trivial things like the metal ringlets and the laces and things like that. So that's 4, and so far the Camino boots seem to be winning. And the last thing you need to take into account is, as your boots wear down, if the cushioning, for example, in the midsole gets compressed and you get less cushioning, if the boots give you less support, or shoes give you less support, then you start to get injured, you get sore feet, maybe your knees or even your hips start to suffer. That's a bit more difficult to do because it's quite possible, unless you walk 25 kilometers a day for 30 days, you won't realise it. So, which ones am I going to choose? The answer is, as I shall get the box and I shall do an unboxing and reveal the results. So, after probably 6,000 to 8,000 kilometres testing each one, in 3 years testing each one every day, I wear my boots every day. Yeah, the ones I've gone for are the Renegade Lowa. The ones, which in case you've forgotten, are completely knackered. And you might be thinking, why is that? Why is the Count Everything channel recommending a pair of boots which is completely knackered after 3 years, and not the ones that are still quite good condition? Well, here's why. By the time I got to the albergue that night, I think I'd walked over 40 kilometres. Now at that time, if I'd walked 30 kilometres, my feet would tell me to stop. So 40 kilometres, my feet really hurt, the soles were very tender. I could almost feel the bones of my feet were bruised. And I staggered into the albergue. I was so glad to get there. And that when you bruise your feet like that, it's not a case of just going to sleep and then waking up better the next day. For the next 2 days, my feet were quite sore. Well, it's Tuesday morning. I'm in Santiago. I got here on Saturday afternoon, which means my leg muscles are just about relaxed enough now so I can sleep more easily. It's the beginning of week 4 and I've just got 9 more days to go until I get to Santiago. But the tiredness and fatigue are starting to catch up with me. The soles of my feet have become quite numb, except for this strange tingling sensation, and the muscles in my legs have become very tense. Also, I can feel the tendons pulling at the back when I'm walking, which makes me limp a bit, as you can see in this video. These boots are so comfortable, they're so soft, they're so beautifully soft and comfortable. I can't tell you just how comfortable they are. As soon as I put my feet in them, they felt so soft and comfortable. And you know, when you're walking, these boots are literally as tough as old boots. These boots are so soft and comfortable. They're so lovely. Oh, my lovely, soft, comfortable boots. So, on that last one, when it comes to, are your boots so worn down, or shoes so worn down, that they don't support your feet anymore, they don't have that cushioning, maybe the midsole has become compacted and you don't have that cushioning. I give these 100 out of 10, out of 100. So, these boots are one, and I shall now do a review of the Lowa Renegade. I think these are called Mid GTX or something like that. I am not getting paid for this, as you won't be surprised, since no one ever watches my videos. So this is my honest opinion about them. You can tell they're good quality boots. Number 1, they're very expensive. Number 2, they come in 3 different widths. They come in half sizes, and the UK sizes, to give you a comparison, so UK size 11 is US size 12 and European size 46. They come in 10 different colours. The one thing you have to know is, if you order some, you need to get like 1 or 2 sizes larger than normal, because they seem quite a small cut. So for example, I normally take size 10 boots or shoes. These are size 11, and even then they're still not too big, so be aware of that. Or order 2 different sizes and then online, and then you can send back, but I expect you'll send back the smaller size. It's a nice new buck leather, and you can tell they're a good quality boot because on the website, the Lowa, I think in English it's pronounced Lowa, but it's a German make, so I think they pronounce that Lowa. At least that's what Google Translate tells me. You can tell they're a quality brand because on their website you can tell the marketing people have got so much money, you know, they're wasting it. They don't just say, would you like to buy a pair of boots and what size do you want to buy? They have all sorts of touchy-feely, soft things. So anyway, they've got lots. It's a very successful company, it seems to me. Lots of different sizes, 10 different colours. And, which brings me back to the next, that's the end of my review, by the way. The other good thing about them is you can get your soles repaired. It's quite expensive. So for example, I think I paid £160 for these boots. Maybe their list price is £190. To have your soles redone, that each European country at least will provide a service, not necessarily by Lowa themselves, but they'll have an agent who does it for them. To replace the sole is £80. A pair of soles is £80. They can repair the stitching, and I think that's £20, plus £20 postaging. So really, given what state these boots will be in 3 years' time, and in fact these things started to come away probably in about the first 6 months. This is how comfortable the boots are, that you're prepared to have put up with having holes in your boots. So the question is then, you can do the 5 tests and you might think, well, my existing boots are fine. If you're walking the Camino, walking the 25 or 30 kilometers a day for a month, it's quite possible you won't find out your boots are worn out, that maybe the midsole's compressed, until you get halfway along, and it'll be too late because, you know, you'll be in agony. So you might say, well, definitely then I should buy a new pair of boots or shoes and all my troubles will be over. But that would be a nice thing to do, and 20 years ago you could have done that. But there's a very special reason why you need to make the most of your boots or shoes or any manufactured good. And first of all though, I'll tell you how you can make your boots or shoes last as long as possible. Number one, you have to keep them clean, because the dirt, if it gets in, especially in fabric boots, the dirt gets in, it makes them wear out much more quickly. And you can just do that with soap and water. You don't need any special products, but you must not put your boots completely you mustn't submerge them completely and cover them in water completely, for reasons I don't understand, because, you know, they're quite tough. And anyway, don't submerge your boots, but just clean them off with a rag. Number two, keep them waterproof. With traditional boots like this, with a shiny leather, with a shiny surface, you can use dubbing, wax dubbing, which works very well. With nubuck or with cloth boots, you know, made out of fabric, synthetic material, you can get a spray to waterproof them. Although I never bother, because in 6 months they'll have holes in them anyway, so that's that. So what have we got? Keep them clean, keep them waterproof, and whatever you do not, or try not to walk on tarmac. Your boots have got good grip, they're lovely soft soles. These ones are the Vibram soles. Lovely soft soles, so you get good grip on rocks and slippery things like that. But they're not so good for walking on tarmac. So if you're like me, you wear your boots every day, you'll go through them. And in fact, people recommend just wear, if you're going to the shops or something, don't wear your expensive boots, even though they're very comfortable. I think, given I want to make my new boots last as long as possible, for the reasons I'm about to explain, I'm going to carry on wearing these to go to the shops or riding my bicycle. I should save these the best when I'm in the forest, you know, in the woods with the soft ground underneath my feet. So far then, we've had the 5 checks for are your boots good enough? The soles, the midsoles, waterproofness, trivial little things like laces and metal eye rings. And are they comfortable? Do they cause you injuries when you use them? We've had the review of the boots, 3 different widths, 10 different colours, half sizes, very comfortable. They wear away, but they are very comfortable. And the 3 rules for how to make your boots or shoes last as long as possible: keep them clean, keep them waterproof, and don't wear them on tarmac. And now we get to the special reason why you should try to make your boots or shoes last as long as possible. And that's because of exploding levels of consumerism are destroying the natural world more quickly than the natural world can recover. So that's getting the natural resources to make your new boots or your new shoes in the first place. Plus then you need all the energy to manufacture them, which causes greenhouse gases to be emitted, causes the climate emergency. And I think most people know about the climate emergency, but they do not know about the ecological emergency. They do not know about the damage the natural world is being caused, and it's the natural world that humans rely on. So try not to buy new things. If you're walking the Camino, that's such an arduous thing to do. Unless you are super confident your boots are really good condition and you're not going to give you any troubles, I think you could justify buying a new pair of boots or shoes. But if you do buy some, really make the most out of them. And at one time you might buy your new boots and think, how smart and beautiful I look, I shall go to the shops and everyone will see me and be very impressed. I'm suggesting in the new world we find ourselves in, you should have more pride about wearing your old worn down boots to the shops. And if anyone says to you, what a scruffy person you are, you're wearing old boots to the shops, you should tell them, I'm trying to save the world by saving it from the ecological emergency, the destruction of nature, to satisfy our bazooka amounts of consumerism, and from the climate emergency. So, those are my thoughts on whether you should buy new boots or shoes when you walk the Camino, how you can tell if they're good condition, and how you can save the world at the same time. So, thank you for watching. I'm past caring whether you like or subscribe anymore. So, see you next time.